Spoiler alert. This is my first impressions of the first 3 episodes of Maid Sama, because I've already watched the first 3 episodes, so this is the only spoiler alert you're gonna get. So, just letting you know, spoiler alert. Hi, I'm Carmen, and I'm the Shoujo Fangirl, and this is my first impressions video for Maid Sama, the anime. We're gonna get started right now. The first episode, we see that Misaki is the student body president of a former all-male school that's now co-ed. So she's very tough as nails. She is protecting the girls from the guys because there's some guys who are trying to bully the girls or trying to make them do their work and things like that. So we see a very tough as nails Misaki that really doesn't like guys at all. She doesn't trust them, is very hard on them, and we see a lot of that in this episode. We also see that she is a maid, and she works as a maid because her family isn't well off. They actually don't have a lot of money, and her mom works and Misaki works. And her little sister does a lot of these postcards that are for different contests so they can get normal things like pants, normal necessities. So you can see why she kind of acts the way she does at school. She has a lot of things going on outside of school, and she has a lot of responsibility at school. So later in the episode, we see that Takumi, which is the male lead, he finds out that she is a maid because nobody at school knows that she's a maid, or she works in a maid cafe. So he finds out, and he's just kind of like not even surprised by it. He's just like, oh, this is surprising. So she freaks out because she's like, oh crap, now he knows that first of all that I'm working, second of all that I work at a maid cafe, so he's gonna tell everybody. So she gets really like nervous and freaked out, and it really like works on her, like her nerves and her mind, because she's so freaked out that he's gonna tell people, but he doesn't tell anybody. So I think at the end of this episode, some of the guys that she told off at school and she said, you're not gonna act this way and you're gonna toe the line or whatever, they come to bully her. They find out that she's a maid, and they come to bully her, and they're like threatening to tell everybody that she's a maid and she works in the maid cafe. So Takumi comes and makes these guys back off and protects her, and really tells the guys, you better not tell anybody. So the guys like run off, and it's really the first time you see this softer side of Misaki, because she's being protected by this guy, and she doesn't really like guys. She's really hard on them, but you see this softer side when she's being protected by this guy, Takumi. So that's the end of episode 1 and the basic recap of that. But to me, it wasn't a lot going on. I did like the introduction of the characters and some of the how you saw Misaki's home life and the kind of things she's dealing with. So it makes her very relatable, and she's a very relatable shoujo manga anime protagonist to me. But yeah, that's the end of the first episode. So the next episode, the second episode, is it starts off with Masaki, the president, locking a guy in one of the supply closets, and these guys are trying to get him out, but it's locked up really good with chains. So they ask Takumi to help, and then the guy gets out, and the reason why he was in there, because he was needed to reflect on what he did. He was like in his boxers, like bothering other girls. So he's just being dumb, like, you know, doing body rolls and stuff like that. And, you know, of course, those girls don't want to see that. He's very flabby and, like, not attractive guy. So you don't want to see that, right? Anyway, so then the president sees this, Misaki, and she's like, you need to think about what you did. And she locks him into that closet. So the guy gets out and everything, and then we find out that they're planning for the school festival, and the guys want to do some like action themed cafe, right? They want to do a cosplay cafe where there's samurais or stuff like that. And Misaki's very against that. She wants it to go off without a hitch. She doesn't want any problems. She doesn't want these guys running amok and just making a, you know, a spectacle out of this cafe. She wants them to take it seriously. So she's like, no, and she's very stubborn, and she's very like, it's not gonna happen. And the guys get increasingly more rebellious because she's acting that way. And then we see that the guys try to get Takumi to help them, and he does talk to Misaki, and he says, you know, you need to see eye to eye with them, because if you don't, then there's going to be more trouble than it needs to be, and you're going to find yourself having a hard time because you didn't listen to them. So she ends up not listening to Takumi and not listening to the guys, and there is a problem. That particular class is kind of just like doing whatever they want and they don't care, and the cafe is not doing well and everything else. So she realizes that she was like a little too harsh on them, and she realizes that she needs to like see eye to eye with them and at least have a compromise. So she goes into maid mode. Note that nobody at school knows that she's a maid yet because of Takumi and how he has this kind of presence and control over the other guys, it seems like, from the first 2 episodes. But anyway, she goes into maid mode. She gets the other, I guess, girls in the school to help, and then the guys, you know, come around and they're like, okay, we were being jerks too, and, you know, it goes off without a hitch, and it does a lot better, and you see a lot better you know, cafe experience for the school festival. So now episode 3 is where Misaki is having to come up with the motivation to do this younger sister concept at work. And it's really hard for her because first she's an older sister, and she has a younger sister, but her younger sister doesn't act like that, doesn't talk in that way, is not very cutesy, and she's having a hard time with it. So throughout the episode, basically, she's trying to find the motivation to be cutesy like that and take on that character. And she talks to Takumi, and Takumi's an interesting character. Like, he acts like he doesn't care, but he obviously cares a lot. So, and he also really goes out of his way to help her. So I think that's really nice and cute, and I like him already. But regardless, so he often goes to the maid cafe, and, you know, when she's working, to order food, just to really bother her a little bit, like a little bit. Anyway, he goes and he annoys her to the point where she kind of snaps and like low-key yells at him. And before he like leaves, she becomes the tsundere little sister type, which I thought was so funny and cute. Oh my gosh, the tsundere. Like, or she's like cold on the outside, warm on the inside, if you don't know what a tsundere is. But that's the type of sister type she becomes. So he really helps her to take on that role. So I love that so much because he is such a cool guy. Oh my gosh, am I already simping on him? But anyway, that's basically what happens in episode 3. Subscribe and like and ring that bell so you don't miss any new videos from me. Bye! As always, I love you all. Have a blessed day and be blessed in Jesus' name. See you in the next video.